Today we're going to be talking about the Rode VideoMicro. It's a sub $60 small microphone that's perfect for run and gun situations and using with your DSLR or other small cameras. Let's do this. I got the Rode VideoMicro because I have a number of cameras that I really need to have easy accessible microphones for. I have a large Asden shotgun microphone that I use typically when I'm doing larger productions. I have the Rode Wireless Go system, and I have a MOVO video microphone for just basic scratch audio on some of my other productions. So I figured this wouldn't hurt to pick up, so that I had one more microphone in my toolkit that I could add for either scratch audio or secondary audio when I'm out and about running, gunning, or doing an interview. This also gives me the ability to plug this into the microphone jack on like my Blackmagic while I'm using the XLRs with a shotgun microphone. And this is small and sort of out of the way. I want to see if this has a decent amount of gain. My MOVO works great with my Canon mirrorless, but doesn't work so well with the Blackmagic or the Z-Cam, simply because the gain on the input is so terribly low. I really have to pull all that audio up in post, and sometimes it doesn't sound the greatest. I'm not expecting too much more from this one, since it is a fairly cheap microphone. But hopefully I do enjoy Rode's quality, and hopefully this lives up to the reviews that I've read about it. Let's go ahead and see what's in the box and see what we've got here. So I'm going to go ahead and just open this up here. So the inside, we have the actual microphone and the, see if I can get that to show, and the shock absorber, the cable, and a dead cat, or dead kitten, however you want to call it, windscreen. So it comes with the little windscreen already on it. If I take the windscreen off, it's a fairly small little microphone. So look at that, small and compact. The windscreen here, there's a whole dead cat. I don't think that you can get the actual other windscreen component out of it. Maybe you can. It feels like you can, but for now I'm going to go ahead and just leave it in there like that, since more than likely I'll be using it with the dead kitten on it most of the time. Here's the shock absorber. It's very similar to the MOVO's shock absorber, which doesn't really feel the greatest. It does suspend it a bit so that it's not rattling at all. Of course, when you move the camera, you constantly have the microphone jiggling in front of you, or in there, so go ahead and put that on. This is actually a heck of a lot easier to put on to the shock absorber than the MOVO mic. It has a hot shoe or cold shoe mount here. It also has the ability to screw on. So if you have I don't think this is a 3/4, but screw on points, you can do that also. You do have a small compact cable. The one thing about the MOVO is it has one that comes for cell phones and one that comes for cameras. This one seems to be universal and good. One thing that I noticed here is the Rode does not have a headphone out. The MOVO does, but most cameras have a headphone jack anyways, so you don't really need to have that on there. Hopefully it doesn't have a specific in for the camera and in for the microphone. The MOVO does have that, and it's annoying, to say the least, that there's two. One thing I will say is the dead cat is just not as secure on this as I'd like. Sort of, if you move it around, you might lose it at one point. One thing that the MOVO does have that the Rode doesn't is a carrying case. This is the carrying case that comes with the MOVO. It's got a padded inside where you can put all the stuff. It has a little pocket for all your cables. And the version of the MOVO that I'm using currently on this camera is the VRX10 Pro. I don't want to say I spent more than $60 on this. So, I mean, the quality is okay. The fact that you get the case and, you know, a dead cat and filters and a shock absorber with it is great. The Rode hopefully is going to be superior in audio quality so that the lack of things like this makes sense. But to be honest with you, I could just put this in here and go with that if I really want to. I just took the MOVO VRX10 Pro, which is this little guy, off of the camera, and now we are listening to the Rode VideoMicro. Hopefully the audio is better. The gain on it is fairly good. But I will say that one thing that this one has over it is the fact that it's the cold shoe mount is a little bit more sturdy. It does have a 1/4-20 on the bottom. The dead kitten is a little bit more, it's a little solid on there. It's not as loose as that one is. And then also, like I was saying before, the MOVO does have, and if into this, it does have a headphone out, which although I wouldn't use it, it comes in useful, especially if you're hooking this up to, let's say, a cell phone to use it as a vlogging camera and you want to be able to check the audio there. The MOVO's done well so far, but hopefully the audio that you're hearing now from the VideoMicro is even better. I came outside to test out how the windscreen and the dead cat works on the microphone, see how much ambient sound it picks up from just being outdoors, and seeing how the directionality picks up my voice. Now the camera is really close to, I'm touching the windscreen right now, and so it's probably 2 feet away from my face. So it's going to be relatively close to what you would get when you are doing a vlog or hand holding the camera at an arm's distance. Now the wind is kicking up right now. We're, you know, getting a good breeze, and hopefully this dead cat sort of knocks that out and it still retains as much audio for myself as possible. And the wind and the rustling of the leaves behind me isn't being picked up. Now, I won't know this until I actually go look at the footage, but that's what I'm hoping for. The MOVO does pick up a lot of external sounds. There's a plane going overhead now, and so it'd be good to know how clean this is compared to that. Because yeah, the MOVO picks up everything. In an interview I was just recently doing and filming, the birds in the trees and the kid next door and other sounds were being picked up all over the place by that microphone. But I did have the Wireless Go Lav on the individual I was interviewing, and so it sort of cleaned it up a bit, and I was able to just use that as scratch audio to sync up the 2 cameras. But in cases like this, I want to make sure that I could vlog and not be drowned out by the rustling leaves, the wind, the cars going past, and so forth. It's a small, obviously you've seen it, and compact. It's about 3 inches long, and it weighs 42 grams or 1.5 ounces. It does have an all-metal body, so it does feel pretty solid and good. There is not a battery requirement, so it gets power from the camera, from a 2 volt to 5 volts current coming from the camera. We have the shock mount. Now the shock mount is a little wobbly and it doesn't feel like the greatest shock mount. There's a deluxe furry windscreen, which is the dead cat that I was referencing to. And now for comparison's sake, I'm using the Rode Wireless Go system. This, I normally use it with a lav mic, but right now I'm just using the clip-on units on my shirt, so you could get a sense of how the volumes change, how the sort of range of the dynamic audio changes. This is primarily what I'll use for an interview. Again, I'll typically use it with a lav mic. This is going to still be my primary. Rode VideoMicro with the dead cat and the shock absorber. Dead cat just sort of comes on and off. It does have a foam insert that I could take out of this guy and put around it if I didn't want to put the dead cat on, but I'll probably keep it looking like this. And then we also have the comparable MOVO VXR10 Pro, which size-wise they're pretty identical. There's not much difference between these two. The Rode is a little bit smaller. The MOVO is a little bit chunkier, so it's got a little bit more heft to it. This Rode is a little bit tinier, a little bit more compact, and so forth. So, but all in all, they're pretty similar. The one thing that is sort of bothering me is, it's not shaking off now, but the actual dead cat is very loose on that. Whereas with the MOVO, it's on there. I can pull it off, obviously, and it obviously has the windscreen also underneath it. Two comparable mics, around the same price. Well, we'll have to see how the audio sounds and see how it goes with the camera. After reviewing the footage, both microphones picked up a lot of the ambient sound in the environment, making the audio less clear, but it did a good job of directionality. So picking up vocals, especially sitting right in front of it. It's a good microphone for quick scenarios. I'm using it now for doing this wrap-up portion, but I think I'm going to really enjoy it. And for $60, it's not really that long of a stretch to be able to get a small, decent microphone for your videos, and it does the job, and it does it really reasonably well.